Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation. Know yourself. The two are interchangeable. And so this is a little bit of an ambush here for me. So this is a slightly earlier Thursday Friday. Main reason being is that I am flying home soon. So basically, as you know, in Japan. Japan is in the future. It is ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. So at the time now, it's just 11:15 p.m. here. I'm in Osaka at the moment, so that's Japan time, and I think it's around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK. Around about 10 a.m. New York time. So for many of you, you used to seeing me in the evening, but now you're actually going to be seeing me in the daytime for you guys, but nighttime here in Japan, because it's about to flick over into Friday. Oh my goodness, someone's here already. That's Karen, thank you so much. I wasn't expecting, I'm not expecting anyone to join me, by the way, because this is a complete ambush. You guys are much more used to seeing me in the evening. Oh, look at that. People are piling in, saying good morning. Hey, folks. Hey, folks. Let's see. Shari has been saying, hey, finally got another stream. I've been missing them because of my work schedule. So nice to see you, Shari. We need to do another collab. I feel like I'm missing everyone because as you guys know, I've been traveling. It's been a lot. I wasn't in charge of the itinerary. I mean, it's been fabulous. Japan has been amazing, but I must admit as well, I am slightly exhausted. It has literally been thousands of miles. I'm not even joking. My phone is almost full from all the video that I've got. I was supposed to do a little Japan video for everyone, me singing karaoke with friends, etc. I've got videos galore. Bowing deer in Nara, that bow for biscuits and stuff. I've done the lot. My friend Chris gave us a very, very full itinerary, but we were literally moving every couple of days, and I've literally done thousands. I don't even know how many thousands of miles of travel. This is excluding what we've even done. I've been done with the cruise, Nomad Cruise, being on the ship. That was thousands. This easily in Japan has already been it's been a lot. So anyway, so I don't really have any questions prepared. This is a bit more of a stream of consciousness show. We are very, very close to the election, as you guys know. Hoggerly is going to be obviously on Saturday as usual, and that's going to be Saturday the 2nd of November, the 3rd if you count Australia time. And then my plan is to do my election predictions probably what will be Sunday the 3rd UK time, where I really want to look at. I'm not going. It's going to be a bit of a reveal. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a reveal, but it's going to be in-depth, deep dive. I'm looking forward to being back with my computers as well, with my software, looking at where the stars are going and stuff like that. So this is an early Thursday Friday. See it as a stream of consciousness kind of show. I'll be taking some of your questions as well, but also as well reflecting on the election. And I just wanted to say, this is so momentous, isn't it? I mean, it can't be overstated. It is so momentous. And one thing I can certainly say for sure is that this election is going to decide the fate of America. Absolutely, unequivocally, it will decide the fate of America. Of America for democracy around the whole world, because because of America's stature in the world, so many people are paying attention to this election, and they're waiting to see what happens. So there's part of me that almost kind of wants to reflect, on the gravitas of that before I actually, throw my hat into the ring and do the astrology and the tarot, looking at multiple factors. This will probably be one of the most detailed and complicated charts, political predictions I'm going to have to read on in my entire career, I think, really. So I'm going to be looking at a lot of stuff, spending a lot of, let me think, I'm back Saturday. Hoggerly in the evening. I'm probably going to be exhausted from flying. Sunday, I'm probably going to have to spend the majority of Sunday getting it done. Probably get out on a Monday, Sunday/Monday, depending on how, because I'm going to be looking at a lot of factors. Because it's just such an important election, and it really is. the Do you remember how I've been saying, oh, this is probably a while ago, but those of you who've been watching me for a long time, do you remember I said it's going to be like this fork in the road, yeah? This fork in the road deciding where America goes. Of course, if it goes with Duck L'Orange, oh my God, that is going to be a very wild and very unpredictable thing. And I would say even those that are devoted to him and what they feel, what they think he stands for, there's going to be a lot of shocks and surprises for you guys, for the Trump voters, about what will actually come down and happen when I look at it from the astrological point of view. So, but it's free will. We have to still respect people's decisions, irrespective of everything that has come to light. If Kamala wins, then it is an incredible opportunity for America. It really will be an opportunity for it to rebirth itself. At the end of the day, the Pluto energy is there. And what it boils down to, particularly as well when a nation like America is having its first Pluto return, this is the first one. And the Pluto return is always an opportunity. It can be a very chaotic time, but it's so what is it going to choose? The energies of Pluto. What energies of Pluto is America going to choose? Is it going to choose the more fascistic route with Duck L'Orange and all of the people around him? He's made it very clear. It's become very clear now. What the route is, and in many ways, it's the regime. It's the regime that is being built around him, and the people that are around him. That's really what's going to usher in potentially this more fascistic. Well, not even I say potentially. Look, it's already there, isn't it? It's already there. No one can pretend and say that that's not a factor. If they're not saying it's a factor, then they're willfully ignoring it. He's made it very, very clear what his plans are, and the economists have spoken about what his tariffs will do for the US economy and stuff like that. But again, free choice, isn't it? Free will. These people are choosing that, but also understand that people need to understand that they are choosing the consequences of that as well. If people vote for Kamala, as many people will do, because the polls are still exceptionally close, I'll dive into the charts and all of that kind of stuff, then that Pluto return energy can be used as an opportunity for renewal, rebirth. We all know the shadow side of Pluto. The shadow side of Pluto, it is fascistic. It does deal with people trafficking and the darkness, corruption. And this is happening, of course, in sidereal Capricorn, which deals with what? Also government, but also big business. You remember how I'm always talking about big business, big pharma, infrastructure. We know how the billionaires are batting. Yeah, we know how the billionaires are batting. And Scaramucci, on that podcast he does with Catty K, it's been very clear, about that. And I think he's made a really good point that they're voting for their own interests, and they're exerting as much of their influence as they can. The Washington Post declined to endorse a candidate either way. And it was interesting to listen to Scaramucci and Catty K talk about that and what that could mean, and how that Jeff Bezos is probably, covering his bases, looking out for, business. When we did the readings on Hoggerly just gone, we looked at the UN, didn't we? And Zelensky's feeling about the UN turning up at BRICS, etc., stuff like that. And I was saying, look, maybe they're hedging their bets. We stand at the cusp of so many different things that could potentially happen simultaneously at once. But I think it is fair to say that it is very much a big crossroads. And I would say never has the vote or the votes of the citizens of a country, I don't think there's ever been a one that is nearly as consequential as this one will be. The way America decides to vote is gonna change a lot of things. There's tremendous energies at work in the world right now for transformation and change. And it's going to be very, very interesting. If we look here at the base of the deck, look, we get the Two of Swords. Again, look, you know, I think this is the billionaires as well, you know, basically trying to cover their bases, hedge their bets. This could be very much the Washington Post and Jeff Bezos right here. But I think this is also as well talking about the Two of Swords is about decisions. Yeah, decisions. I think this can easily represent the American electorate as well. And this momentous decision that needs to be made, and how, I mean, obviously this audience and people that watch shows like mine understand how momentous this is, but how many people voting or maybe deciding not to vote, how many realize how consequential this will be, not only for America but also the whole world? It's, you know, it's gonna affect a lot of things, and I've just been reflecting on that. You know, I'm very, very far away. I've been having this rather surreal and quite incredible experience in Japan because it is very, very different. But one of the things that I would say is, and again, this is a bit of a stream of consciousness video. I'll scooch. I'll have a look through to see some of the comments and maybe answer some questions. But one of the things I would say is this: Japan is a superb example of a nation of people. First of all, they're extremely polite. They are extremely polite. And the kind of discourse that we're seeing in politics in the West, to an extent in the UK, but in America in particular, is absolutely unthinkable in Japan. I mean, literally, it is unthinkable. What has impressed me the most, and I kind of knew it was a thing, but the conscientiousness and awareness that the Japanese have for each other. They have very strong privacy laws in Japan, where they really do respect privacy and stuff like that. But it goes beyond that. There is such conscientiousness and care for the maintenance of society. And when I was on the ship, I was talking to quite a few Japanese actually. And there's one called Kiki, so I'll give a shout out to Kiki. When we were on Nomad Cruise, we were able to do bowling at her parents' bowling alley in Japan. Was that in Osaka? Yes, that was in Osaka. I'm back in Osaka now. And she did speak about how that can be quite stifling when you're in Japan. And she was saying that when Japanese are abroad, they don't want to meet other Japanese because they want to be more of themselves and stuff like that. So that it can feel a little bit stifling, according to what Japanese have said to me. However, from the outside looking in, as a visitor, wow, what a society. People really show care and attention to their fellow citizens. There are rules, but they're all based around decency and respect. So, like, for example, you're frequently told on the tannoy in Japan, I mean, the transport here is superb. I mean, it is simply superb. But you're frequently told, please don't speak on your mobile phone. So when you're on the subway or on the trains, you don't speak on your mobile phone in Japan. You can look at your mobile phone, you can watch videos and stuff, but you have to have your headphones in, because you're not supposed to disturb the peace of your fellow citizens. There is such politeness, there's such dignity, such respect. no one would dream of insulting anyone in a public fashion. If they do, it would be something quite extreme. And one looks at that and experiences that, which I've been experiencing for a few weeks now, of this very cohesive society where everyone in a way is valued, but it's not like this kind of individualism, like I must have my same blah 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 blah. It's not like that. Everyone can be an individual, particularly the privacy of their own home, but there is this conscientiousness of public discourse and just showing respect to others, which I find very, very admirable. And I think we in the West could learn a lot from Japan. So I just wanted to say that. And it's incredible, and it's quite humbling in a way as well. And just seeing the little acts of kindness, the way that people talk to, people's little kids and stuff, and I think, oh, and this, everyone's in their little space, but they are also completely together. You can feel the psychic connection between the citizens that is quite remarkable. And there's this, because obviously you guys know I'm pretty I'm a psychic person, and I often, as I read on nations, towns, cities, everything. And when I step into a place, I can feel the psychic energy of a place. And Japan, I'd have to see what it's like in other Asian countries, because it is my first one, and I will travel to other ones. But I found it remarkable, the subconscious cohesiveness and synchronicity of the people is quite remarkable. Anyway, right, so let's see here. So Joan King saying safe travels. Barbara saying a nice surprise. Yeah, you don't normally see me in the morning. Good morning from West Virginia, Helen Wheels. Yes, Sherry saying yes, we do, and let me know, and I'm there. Yes, we definitely. Once I'm back in the UK and got my senses back, because I do feel slightly discombobulated. Aloha is saying that. Oh, happy Halloween, of course, everyone. Yes, yes. Must be nice. Let's see here now. If you've got any questions for me. Let's see here. So, Barbara, did you see Trump in the garbage truck? No, I saw that he was at McDonald's. I saw that he was at McDonald's. In fact, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's reflect on the candidates. As you know, many of the channels, we've all been reading, and as you know, I've not done my reading yet. I'm literally waiting until the energies are at their absolute ripest. Yeah. And it's very interesting, the McDonald's stunt that he did, because it was a stunt. I think it was quite an effective stunt. But the reason why he did it, I think the reason why he did it is because he knew that Kamala, talking about her background, you guys say middle class background. I think that would be kind of working class, maybe in the UK, or maybe it's a blend. But I think he understood that was having major cut through with voters. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done his thing in McDonald's. I mean, he seemed to enjoy himself, and look, he confesses that he absolutely loves the place. I found it very, very interesting. I found it very interesting. But this stuff where, did you see Trump? Let me just put it up there. Did you see Trump in the garbage truck? I didn't. So was that some CGI or something? Where someone had kind of maybe put that on Instagram or something like that. Let me know, because goodness, there's so much going on these days. They'll be branding garbage trucks next year. Good morning and blessings. Yeah. Vote blue. I don't want to be deported. Yeah, Helen Will says. Yeah, do you know what? Absolutely. I think here again, like I said, this is more of a stream of consciousness, guys. But I've seen some very interesting stuff. As you know, I talk to all Americans, well, everyone. I talk to the whole world, as you know. But I talk to Americans wherever I find them, and I meet all sorts of Americans from all over the world, particularly on my travels. Those that are Democrat, independents, Republicans, and stuff. And I've got to hear lots of different stories. And I did hear the views of some Americans that are pro-Trump. And one of I won't say their name, but one of them is Latin. At least one of them was Latin. And I think it's very, very interesting because you guys would have heard the comments from that comedian. Yeah, I have to hear it for myself because I couldn't quite believe it. But then when I heard it, I was like, oh my God. And he said, oh, there's, in the ocean, we've got this big, there's so much rubbish in the island, in the ocean, it's made this island of trash. And he said it was Puerto Rico. My God. Absolutely gobsmacking. And of course, as you can imagine, that has gone down like a cold cup of sick, with the Puerto Rican community. And I would have to say now, apparently, according to Catty Kay and Scaramucci, the Trump campaign is trying to distance itself from these comments, because they're like, well, this comedian making these comments. But according to what they said on the show, they said that was on teleprompter. Teleprompter. So that means that joke, which really wasn't a joke at all, it was a very racist, just nasty, 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 nasty thing. But that was basically programmed in. And one thing I have to say, and again, I don't want it to come across as a judgment or whatever, but what I would say is this: if you're watching this and you happen to be, Republican, and you happen to be, or you're gonna vote for Trump, and you happen to be Latin, in particular, what I will say is really, really think about that. Really, really think about what he's been saying about, we know what he said about Mexicans, describing all Mexicans as rapists and criminals and stuff like this and blah, blah, blah. And if you think about what now look, this didn't come out of Trump's mouth, this was a so-called comedian, at one of his rallies or whatever, but this was teleprompted in, So this, if it was more of an off-the-cuff thing, then they would be able to there's more plausible deniability. But apparently, this was teleprompted in. So this means this was kosher. This had approval from the top, which is Dr. Orange, in terms of this rally. And particularly if you're a Latin person, I really, really, really hope that you're reflecting and you're thinking about things like that, because if that can be said about the people of Puerto Rico, who are pretty much one of de facto states of America. And I was in Puerto Rico last year for my birthday, and I learned a lot about the politics of Puerto Rico and its relationship with the United States. But there are a lot of Puerto Rican voters in America, in swing states. And if they can say that about Puerto Ricans, imagine what the rest of the policies are going to be like if they get into power. Imagine. Think of some of we all know the things that they've said, and I just don't understand on a certain level why this isn't kind of cutting through. Why this isn't cutting through, because just like what was said in the comments, they want to deport a lot of people. But anyway, stream of consciousness. Let me see if there's some questions here. Here we are. So Joe G says, vote blue. I don't want ever to see children locked up in animal cages ever again. Yeah, absolutely. Rainbow Clef, same way. Transmission is a bit choppy. Is it? Let me know if it's still choppy, guys. There's good internet. I'm looking on my internet here. My internet here is pretty good. Sherry says, drop me an email. Here we are, Pamela. Yeah, Pamela's saying the billionaires are capitulating in advance. Big sign of autocracy. How pathetic. Yeah, for the rest of us. Yeah, just like Scaramucci was saying, at the end of the day, you know, they want to stay billionaires, and this is why I've kept on saying, as you know, ad nauseum. Yeah, repeat after me. Yeah, Pluto is in sidereal Capricorn. It's not physically in the constellation of Aquarius. Remember, in Western tropical astrology, they are effectively 24 degrees ahead. Capricorn is the sign of government, but it's not just government, it is big business, top-down structures, hierarchies, yeah? It deals with corporations, corporates, corporate elites. This is why we're seeing in this particular election cycle, but also around the world, look how much the billionaires are interfering. They are just going to throw their support behind whoever gives them the most favorable circumstances. Yeah, because it doesn't matter for them really, as long as they're fine, they don't care. They don't, because they are insulated against from the vast majority of things that can go wrong for ordinary people. And this is why they're supporting people like Dr. Ronch, because he's given them tax breaks. It's just naked self-interest. But because we're in this Pluto return for America and it's in sidereal Capricorn, now it's becoming clear. Yeah, now it's becoming nakedly obvious. What's going on with my cards? It's mixing themselves up. So let's see. What should I read on? Let's have a little look. What would you like me to read on, folks? Yeah, I have a question. Oh, so Gray says, wow, Hogarth, a really vivid and solid orb at around about 5 to 6 minutes in. Really? Wow. Oh, let's see here. Elizabeth Dotson says, good morning, happy Halloween. Does Biden have a trick or even a treat for us? Let's have a look. Yeah, because we've not really spoken about Biden that much, hasn't he, since he stepped aside. Let's check in with Joe Biden. Let's check in with Joe Biden and see what's going on with him. The little press bits and bobs that I have seen from him. I mean, they showed him wearing a MAGA hat, didn't they? And I thought that was a joke, actually. I learned about that on the ship. I thought that was a joke, but no, I think it was complicated, and I can't remember the full context now because it was weeks ago. But I think it was part of him playing to camera, basically. Let's see what's going on with Joe Biden. And I'll scroll down. So if you've got any questions, drop them in. More stream of consciousness, this one, folks. A bit looser, because I am literally flying to back home to the UK. And you'll see me in my familiar environments. You'll see the backdrops again. I've kind of missed my little light show, I must confess. One of the first things I'm going to do when I get back is have a full English breakfast at my local cafe. That is one of the first things. All right, let's see what's going on with Joe Biden. Let's have a look. Let's see. Oh, I've got a reversal. Wow. This is quite profound. Quite profound. We look here. So the question was trick or treat. Let me just get it up again. Yeah. Elizabeth Dotson, happy Halloween. Does Biden have a trick or treat or even a treat for us? We look here. Now look. Pages are all about messages. Yeah. Pages are always about messages. Swords deal with the mind. They have the element of air. Yeah. So they're associated with the air signs as well. So the air signs are all about communication. So in particular, one could say that the Page of Swords is probably the most communicative of all of the Pages suites, yeah, because it just keeps lining up. This also shows a lot of mental activity, and this also shows that potentially Joe Biden might make an announcement, yeah. So we're less than we're less than a week. Well, what are we, a week? No, less than a week, isn't it? Because tomorrow effectively is the 1st. You guys are watching this, and I'm broadcasting this while it's still the 31st of October for you, the morning, me, Japan, evening time. So we've got what, 5 days till the election. So what this says to me is there is the potential that Joe Biden may just come out with one last hurrah to try and help Kamala, or he could just say something that is of particular interest and has a bit of an edge to it. Yeah, it even has a bit of an edge to it. What's interesting though is the next card that comes up. Look, get the Tower card here. So what I'm going to say is, because these two are appearing together, he may say something controversial. I don't know what it will be, but Joe Biden, if he is going to speak, he might say something controversial. How that will be interpreted by either side, I'm not sure, and I can't be 100% sure what it will be. I hope it's in favor of, well, it should be in favor of Kamala, shouldn't it? That's what one would expect. But look, the Tower's come out here, so he might come out with something bombastic, or it could be some kind of big public announcement that could be a game changer in some kind of way. Either way, there is an element here of the unexpected. As you know, I just have to say, I say what I see. I say what I see. We look here, he gets the Two of Swords, but reversed. So it could be that he may want to say some stuff and he may actually be holding back. Yeah. This card, when it's the right way up, can talk about avoiding a decision, not wanting to make a decision or see a situation. Here, in a way, because the first two cards are quite challenging, I feel like there's stuff that he wants to say that he's probably holding back on, but it could kind of burst out. Let's hope it's not a gaffe or a faux pas, but either way, he may say something based on these cards that could be quite influential. Let's hope it's a real positive for Kamala, or he may just let rip. He might just let rip on Trump or something like that, because he's like, look, he knows he doesn't have long left in the presidency. It's either going to be Kamala or Trump, isn't it? You know, so. But there's something here that he's been holding his tongue on. If we look here, this card makes sense, doesn't it? It's the Six of Swords, but do you notice already how much of the sword suites have come up? So this shows that he's thinking about a lot of things. I think he's contemplating his life after the presidency, because of course this is a card of moving to smoother waters. You know, he's not going to be running. He's not going to be running again. This is his last hurrah. So I think he's reflecting, cogitating on life, thinking about his legacies, probably thinking what is the last push of assistance that he can give to Kamala in some kind of way. And then if we look here, we also get the Judgment card here. So this is the card of, if we look here, oh gosh, I've got to cover the naked bits. So this card, in a way, can talk about almost like a rebirth or renewal, or wanting to refresh oneself, renew oneself. But this card I think this is also him kind of looking back at his legacy as well, probably reflecting on the decisions that he's made. I think he's reminiscing, guys. I think he's reflecting, reminiscing, and probably wanting to do, maybe if we look at top and tail it, do one last bugle call, as it were. One last bugle call, maybe a big shout out for democracy, maybe just reminding people of what really is at stake, as if we didn't know already. But maybe for those that have not been hearing the call, yeah, maybe have not been hearing the call, particularly in light of what was said about Puerto Rico at that Trump rally. This might be an opportunity for Biden perhaps to speak up, yeah, maybe say something controversial, something that he's been holding his tongue on a while, maybe avoiding saying before he moves to smoother waters. And he might, when I look at it, when I reflect on those cards, he might actually have a big message for the Latin community based on was said at that rally. When I kind of filter it through my mind and the psychic factor, looking at those cards, that's in the ballpark of where I think that would be. Good question, actually. Not read on Joe Biden for a while, but he's certainly pondering life, his life after the presidency. You know, his later years. Of course, he is very mature, and I'm sure he is looking forward to having a bit of a rest. So thank you so much for your question. Let's have another scroll through. Oh, Magical Moment saying he did so this is Dr. Orange, he did a garbage pickup photo op. Very interesting. Gillian saying, hi, surprised to see you in the morning, pleasantly surprised. I'm wondering, where is Matt Gaetz? He's been so quiet. That's a good point, actually. Let's do a little look-see on Matt Gaetz, huh? Keeping his head down. Of course, the former Speaker of the House, I've forgotten his name now. Douchebag, I can't remember his name, but he's been quietly getting his revenge, isn't it? McCarthy? I think it was McCarthy, wasn't it? God, the news cycle moves. I think it was McCarthy, wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, Johnson's there now, but the one who was there before, who effectively got totally stabbed in the back by Matt Gaetz. What's going on with Matt Gaetz? Maybe he's buying property in El Salvador. That's the right way. Okay. Matt Gaetz, good question. And then I'll pull some cards for Trump, for Kamala, see where they're at. But focus on Matt Gaetz for now, and then let's look at those two. What other questions you have? Matt Gaetz, what's going on with him? Thank you guys for joining me, by the way. There's quite a few of you here, and this was a total ambush on my part. I really didn't think anyone would be tuning in. So I much appreciate the support and the love. I really do. But I'm looking forward to being home and being geographically closer. It's really interesting. I really do feel a long way away. I can't feel America as much as I normally would, even though there is the Atlantic separating the UK from America. But I am that much further. I'm literally on the other side of the world. I can feel the difference. Remember what I said about repeat cards? Yeah. Oh, here we go. All right. Matt Gaetz. Yeah. High Priestess. Machinations. Yeah. Now, look, when this card comes up for ordinary people, this means this is a person getting in touch with their spirituality. They could be, reading spiritual books, doing spiritual study, even being religious, going to church. It can be things like that. But normally, a person is developing their internal and spiritual world. How much of that Matt Gaetz is doing is probably unlikely. I think that because we're talking politics, this is more about the machinations. So he's making a lot of plans. I think he's hedging his bets. I think he understands that if under a Harris administration, I think he's in trouble. Yeah, he's in trouble, particularly when you see the next card. So I think what he's doing, he's hedging his bets. He's making plans, maybe making secret deals, backhanded things. One of the shadow aspects of this card can actually be about a predatory nature as well, which we know that he has for entertainment purposes only, but it's all out there on the record. To the next card, we get the Six of Swords back again. So he really is making plans. I think what he is working on an exit strategy for himself if Kamala wins. Yeah, because look, this is about what? Moving to smoother waters. Yeah, we saw it come up already for Joe Biden, which makes sense. He's reflecting. on his life and his life after the presidency. There's the Matt Gaetz. You see here, machinations, thinking, making secret plans, and then moving to smoother waters in the obstacle position. So he wants to, but he may not be able to move to smoother waters if it's a Harris administration. But he's making contingency plans. That's what I'm seeing from that. The coup comes up again. Yeah, you saw me shuffling extensively. We've got the Page of Swords back. So I think he's lining up a few sound bites as well. Do you know what this is? This is part of his plan, yeah? He's got his machinations, working on an exit strategy should Kamala come in, but he's getting his rhetoric lined up as well, yeah? His rhetoric lined up. Remember as well, this is also mental activity as well and messaging. So he's working on his messaging, what he's going to say, depending on who wins the election is going to decide what comes out of his mouth, yeah? We look here, he's having to rely on his internal strength and resources. So he really, so look, literally here, look, when we look at this in context, isn't it? He's gathering his strength for something. Gathering his strength, probably doing quite a bit of paperwork as well, because remember as well, this can also talk about emails, communications of all kinds. He's probably kind of tidying up a few of those things, you know, to make sure that he's all right. Depending on who wins, but yeah, certainly relying on inner resources, and he's coming up with plans and ideas. So he's planning. It seems like to me, Matt Gaetz is planning a bit of a renaissance for himself. What I would say is this: if Kamala wins, this card will become active, and he's going to move to smoother waters, and he's probably thinking of starting up somewhere else. So when I was kind of joking, maybe he's looking at property in El Salvador, I think there could actually be something to it, because this is definitely the cards of someone who is making quite sophisticated plans. They're clandestine, they're undercover, but they are certainly there. And I think he's making a plan for himself, which could be an exit strategy if Kamala were to win, because who did she prosecute? Yeah, she prosecuted people that were like, you know, sex offenders, abusers and stuff like that, again for entertainment purposes only. But that was one of the things that he was implicated in, wasn't it? It was the trafficking of minors, which is Kamala's speciality. If she gets in, he's toast. So he's not a stupid guy, so he's making his plans. There you are. I think that's enough that I can say on that. Let's see who else. What other questions do you have for me? I get a bit more. Pamela is saying he did it because Biden said something about his followers being garbage. Oh, oops. Okay, so, yeah, and people saying it was real. No, he got into the truck. He got into his truck and dragged his leg. I didn't see Trump wash his hands. Maybe he changed his. What is this? I didn't see Trump. Maybe he changed his. It depends and infected the place. So so this is legit. He did do something. Yeah. So Barbara is clarifying as well. No, he did it yesterday because Biden called his supporters garbage. Right. Okay. There we are. And I was traveling yesterday. I've been traveling so much. My God, he's so toxic. He's so toxic. McDonald's got E. coli. Yeah, it was a publicity stunt. Yeah. Well, that's Douglas Orange. Remember, he's. I always say he's an entertainer first. All of those years in front of the camera doing The Apprentice and all that stuff, he's always thinking of gimmicks. Yeah, he's very good at gimmicks, eye-catching, and that's why I call him the performing, the performing macaque. He's like the golden macaque, yeah, who does the tricks. And that's one of the things I'll put on Instagram. But one of the things I'll put in the video, there was a dancing monkey which I saw in Kyoto, I think it was. And I said, look, this is like Dr. Orange, but it's a wider analogy for politics. He's always looking for, sound bites. Yeah, so here we are. Oh, so maybe that's what was turning up in the cards. So Trump campaign reacting to press, Biden misspeaking, calling Trump's followers garbage. So look, I think maybe that's what was showing up as well in the comment. In the cards, wasn't it? Where I said maybe Biden might say something controversial I wasn't aware. So maybe that's what was being picked up as well, and he may try and actually rectify that. Here, Lynette Thomas is saying Kamala is very qualified. Yes, she is to be the most qualified president ever if she wins. The most qualified. But white America does not want a woman of color as president. Well, there's lots of white Americans that support Kamala, of course. So let's not generalize. In fact, I think her most popular, her highest vote percentage is among white women, white educated women is Kamala's biggest support. And apparently she's increasing her votes with what they say, I don't think it's a very flattering term. They say white uneducated people. We wouldn't really say that in the UK, but, again, cultural differences and stuff like that. So she certainly has a lot of support from white voters. So let's try not to generalize too much, but the main thing is division between men and women. Like I said Venus will decide this election because the majority of the males, obviously some of them are going to vote for Kamala, but he has his majority of support with men. And Kamala is looking like she has the majority of the female support. So she needs basically all the women to basically vote for her, plus with some of the independents and stuff like that as well, to be sure. I was refused. Oh, I was refused. I was refused in Japan as a refuged. Do you mean refused? In Japan as a young child, my favorite childhood memories is Japan life. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Very interesting culture. All right. Oh yes, and someone's saying here, trash day is November 5th. Wow, poor Puerto Rico has been hit by several hurricanes in the last 15 years. Yeah, and they've not had a great deal of help as well. Good morning from Texas. You have orbs flying all around you. Oh, wow, so you saw them as well. Okay, well, that's good to know, isn't it? Spirit is here with me. All right, look, we've got about 15 minutes left. Let's do a read on Dr. Orange, how he's feeling now. And I remember the read I did on him last week. He was feeling exhausted, wasn't he? He was feeling knackered and trying to put a front on it. I think he's probably feeling a bit boosted by his little PR stunts. Obviously, that comedian, that just totally backfired. That could swing it, Maybe that's the October surprise. That could swing it. I would say if you're Puerto Rican, in particular, if you're Latin, definitely, but if you are Puerto Rican in particular, and if you heard those comments and how derogatory that guy was at that rally about you and your people and your culture and that stuff, you know what to do. You know what to do. And you know how to vote. Because if they're going to be like that with the people of Puerto Rico, who are basically a quasi-state of America and have huge, immensely strong connections, imagine what they're going to be like with other Latin people. Anyway, Dr. Orange, what's going on with him? And then we'll take a look at Kamala. What's going on with Dr. Orange? Yeah, his little stunts. He did a 3-hour show, I think it was, on Joe Rogan. Catty K was saying that Kamala should have gone on. I think she's got a good point. I would just say at this stage, she's got to try and just swing every vote that she can. But again, that might have offended a lot of people. A lot of people may have been upset about that. her appearing there. But anyway, Dr. Ronge, what's going on with Dr. Ronge? And just to remind everyone, please don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and press the bell notification and share. And just so you know, it will be Hogely on Saturday. Of course, we'll be doing our reads there, but probably on Sunday, Monday is when I'm going to do my big astrological read on the election. I'm going to be looking at several charts. It's going to be one of the most detailed and quite complicated reads that I've done in a while. I'm still going to try and keep that to an hour, so I'm going to have to plan it out and time myself to make sure that I'm hitting all the things that I want to talk about, all the factors that are at play, and seeing what Venus is doing as well. So it's probably going to be one of the most important readings I would have done in my career so far. All right, Dr. Ronge, what's going on with Dr. Ronge? Okay. Interesting. That old chestnut has turned up. This card is never far away when you're reading on Dr. Ronge. So here we are. He gets the Ace of Cups. So at the moment, he's actually on a bit of an emotional high right now. Yeah. Because he did his McDonald's thing and that got a lot of views. And, you know, I think 20, what is it? 20, I think his interview on Joe Rogan had 22 million downloads. My God. Yeah. So he's feeling quite buoyant. Obviously, there's the massive gaffe that happened at his rally, but I think he personally himself, look, he's got the Ace of Cups, yeah, spinning up. If we look here, but of course he has secret plans. Like I said, whatever happens in this election, Dr. Ronge will cheat. Yeah. Here, the Queen of Cups, but particularly when we're talking about politics, talks about machinations, yeah, secret plans. What is in this crucible here of secrets? So what this says to me is he's feeling buoyant because he has secret plans. Now, I don't think these plans are that secret. I mean, I've been saying it for ages. I said he's going to try and cheat. Yeah, he's already preparing the ground, you know, people's minds. But just in case we weren't sure, look at this. Yeah, we get the devil card show up. How often this card shows up when we're talking about Dr. Ron? So it's almost like he's feeling buoyant because he has secret plans, yeah, with his dark intent and machinations. So this again is what a card of what? Corruption, addiction, mental illness. You don't want to see the devil card showing up in a reading. We look here, yeah, we see the Five of Swords, yeah, Five of Swords, which of course is always talking about what an abuse of power, yeah. So of course he's going to be what, trying to abuse his power and influences, and he gets the Ace of Wands. So this is he's basically he's got these secret plans. I think he's got people in place to try, and this is also a card of power and of force as well. So I think he is obviously, it coming next to the Five of Swords means he's going to resort to violence or try and instigate violence. Yeah. So if we look at this, if he doesn't win, he's going to try and use force. He's going to try and agitate his base by abusing his power and encouraging them into violence. Yeah. Because obviously the morals are, are completely corrupt, but these are also the corrupt people around him that are even worse than Dr. Ronge. They've been working on this for a little while, secret plans, and they hope that it's going to give them the outcome that they want. So, he's scheming. He's scheming. He is scheming. Let's have a look. I wish I could be a bit more positive on that, but what else could I say with those cards that he got? Let's look at Kamala. How's Kamala feeling? And with that devil card, there are a lot of very corrupt people around Dr. Ronge. And you can count some of those billionaires as well that are helping him. They're just interested in themselves. Kamala. Let's see what's going on with her. Hopefully she can capitalize and again use the recent events that comedian, you know. All you have to do is just quote the GOP. You just repeat what they say, and that's what she has been doing. Try and wake people up. All right, Kamala. Where is she? How's she feeling right now? What is she feeling? How's her campaign going? Imagine that, guys. I pick with my eyes closed. Let's take a look. Ah, this is interesting. Bloody hell. Oh, her cards are complex. Yeah, Kamala has got complex cards. Okay, so first of all, what do we see here now? This is the Page of Cups. Now, as you know, pages are always about messages, but as you know, what is my nickname for this card? I'll call it Stinky Fish. Yeah, so there's something going on. There's some messages that she's hearing that might be unpleasant or surprising. Something that she doesn't like. Yeah. Ah, look at the next card. I think I know what it is. I think I know what unpleasant thing that she's heard about. We look here in the obstacle position. Look, it is the, what's that? It's, it is the Seven of Swords. Now, this is a card of what? Trying to cheat or get away with something. Yeah. Here, you can see the person has stole some of the swords, which weakens the camp. Could it be Kamala has had an unpleasant message about Trump's intentions or those that support Trump in order to potentially skew the election their way? That's what that says to me. Yeah, look, an unpleasant message about cheating. Wow. We look here, we've got the Hanged Man. Now, here, this card is also about having a different perspective. So there's something that she has learned recently that is changing her perspective on the campaign in the last days leading up to the election. I think this is also as well talking about the polls, yeah, because at the moment the polls are still showing it as basically they said 48-48, didn't they? But some of the other polls actually have Kamala slightly ahead, but it's still in the margin of error. But look, this is a card of stasis. This is a card of stasis. She's trying to move the dial. There's some unpleasant message, something she's learned about in the campaign in regards to some kind of skullduggery or cheating that is changing her perspective. Also as well, look, she gets the Nine of Swords, so there's something that's worrying her, keeping her up at night. And this is maybe why she's going a bit more aggressively for Trump, Duck L'Orange, based on this maybe unpleasant message that she's had. But look, her outcome card is Temperance, which is about rebalancing things, recalibrating, doing performing alchemy. So what this says to me is based on maybe a rather unpleasant message that she's heard. It could be about the polls or something else or something to do with cheating. Yeah. Something that she's been made aware of about the election has changed her perspective. It has worried her. It's definitely worried her, but she's being proactive and she's trying to change the balance. So I think I think she's going to campaign up until the last minute to try and sway those undecided voters. And she's going to try and do a little bit of alchemy. And maybe, hopefully, Joe Biden can also say some things that are going to help. This will also as well be, you know, the likes of obviously Obama and Barack and Michelle Obama are obviously going to try and do their bit as well. They need, there's going to be an element of alchemy at the last minute. This is also a card that deals with what mixing, yeah. So this is, I think Kamala's going to be trying to bring everyone together. She's going to be trying to come with a blending message, and she's trying to balancing. What she should talk about as well, more as well, I think she's done it already, is the economy. But looking at those cards, there's something she's learned. Yeah, something she's learned, which has had her worried, it's changed her perspective and has had her worried, but she's being proactive about it. So Trump is basically, Dr. Orange has got advanced plans for how he's going to basically try and steal the thing, which is what I've said all along. I said he doesn't have to win, it just has to be close. Yeah, he's setting up the groundwork, but she's onto him and the campaign is onto him, and it looks like they're trying to recalibrate and rebalance things. So that's interesting, isn't it? With only 5 days to go. Let's put here June Jackson. That's not a good sign. Possible possible stroke. I don't know for who. I'm a bit behind. Behind fellow exchange. But it was remember that how little Americans expressed that attitude and cynic screws. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Trump told his dad about. Yeah, here we are. Trump told his dad about the comedian. Trump knew. Of course he knew. Of course he knew. Of course he knew. That's how he really feels. So it's kind of like, I just think if you're that in person voting for him, like, you know, that really needs to be a factor. But again, I can't judge. Free will, free will. Yeah, West Sussex listening to this. All right, what I would. Here we are. Barron told Trump. Right, okay. The oligarchs are trying to take control of NATO countries. Yeah. The whole Madison Square Garden debacle was a while all the way through. Dark energy was nauseating. Yeah, they are. Haitian first, then Puerto Ricans. Who next? Yeah. Haitian first, then Puerto Ricans. Who next? Well, Mexicans as well. Remember, anyway. Look, if he gets in, the deportation wagons are going to be out, and a lot of people that voted for him, they're Latin. They don't realize that they're voting to have their family members deported. I don't know how else to put it. I hope that's not too strong for people, but how else can you put it? Anyway, late great. Okay, what's this here? Let me finish. Is this a quote? Late great Roberto Clemens was from Puerto Rico. Yeah, he was a fantastic baseball player for Pittsburgh Pirates and also a humanitarian too. He died on the plane crash. Oh yes, and there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania. You know what? Let me quickly close with this. Let's read on what impact these comments will have on the election based on how Puerto Ricans feel. What are they going to do? Well, let's just see. What impact could the Puerto Rican vote have on this election? Because that was an astonishing thing to say and to insult such an important part of the electorate in that way. Let's see what the Puerto Ricans will do about this. And that will close the show, I think. Interesting. Well, look at this. Now, we've got the King of Cups. Now, when we're talking politics, we associate this with the Democrats, don't we? So, those comments may have pushed a lot, in case they weren't there already, but I think this may have pushed a lot of Puerto Ricans over to the Democratic side. This is the card of Joe Biden, after all, yeah? He's the current incumbent, but he represents Democrats, along with Kamala, of course. Yeah, look, this has caused a lot of anguish. I think those that may have been considering voting for Trump are now probably feeling very torn about it. Yeah, very cut up about it. Again, people have their free will. They can vote however they want. But these comments, look, you can see, yeah, 9 of Swords in obstacle position. We look here, Dr. Orange often turns up as the King of Wands. So look, this time he's in the reverse position. So I think this may have changed quite a few perspectives. Their view on for those that may obviously everyone's voting in their own way, but let's just say those that may have been pro-Trump, I think their views about him have changed, yeah, after hearing that. They're looking to collaborate, yeah, looking to collaborate with others, I think with fellow Puerto Ricans, but also democracy as a whole, yeah, Americans as a whole. And if we look at the outcome card, it's about returning to something nicer, something more decent. You know, this is the card of nostalgia, of family, yeah, of innocence. So I think those comments could have proved extremely costly, and it has changed quite a few people's views on Dr. Ranch, and it's pushed it closer to the Democratic side from that. Who knows, could swing it. But remember as well, this is an election of inches and centimeters, folks. Everyone has to get out and vote. Many of you have voted already early, so and they voted blue early. So thank you for your contribution to democracy, because it really does make a big impact. 5 days to go. Let's see what happens. But it could be that gaffe could be very, very expensive. Yeah. For Dr. Orange and his cabal. So anyway, we shall see. But that was awful. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm already just over an hour. Thank you so much to everyone for joining me. It was an ambush. So this is my early Thursday Friday. The next you will see me, I will be back in my living room in the UK with my lights around me. Thank you to everyone as well who pointed out the orbs. I didn't see them, of course, I was talking to camera, but it's nice to know that they were there joining me for this reading. And so we'll have the Hogely, so we'll obviously a lot more detail on that on Saturday. But, you know, I will soon after that, either the Sunday or the Monday, I will do my final, you know, predictions. But it's going to be one of the deepest and one of the most important readings I'm going to do in my career so far for me, in terms of reading about this very, very consequential election. So peace and light and love to everyone. Have a good time wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me at this very early time. And the next you see me, you will see me in London. I'm looking forward to being home. Mwah! Big love, everyone. And I will catch you soon. All right. Bye-bye for now.